Okay. See if I can change that. If I can just let everybody in. Master mute. Okay, hopefully that would work. Okay. Yeah, I had to. Can you guys hear me? Okay. All right. I had to reboot everything on my Zoom. I ran out of storage basically like the last, I guess, I don't know, 10 years. So I had to figure out another way to do everything. So paid a bunch of fees, I guess I had, and then rebooted everything. And so clean slate. It's metaphorically, right? Oh, and now the gardeners are here. Good. I love challenges. I just talk louder. All right. So I have a really awesome class for you guys. I'm simultaneously living in hell and heaven. I don't know if any of you guys can feel that, right? But again, I mean, you know, we start in heaven inside of ourselves at least, and then we get placed into hell. And by the time you wake up, usually have so much hell on you. That is why you wake up. You get so literal tired of the word no, you know, I can't, that it finally gets you so pressurized that your I am can be reborn, right? And so this is kind of the story of the Christed consciousness, right? It's just like when you came through, you were the I am being, you know, I'm here, I'm alive, I'm embodied, I'm excited, I'm curious, I'm adventurous, I'm growing. Like these were all your I ams. And, you know, maybe some of you got stifled a bit in the womb. I'm sure some of us can relate to that. So maybe your consciousness was in a body that your body was already saying, I am not, when you were born, but your consciousness was still the I am presence. And that is how you got to be this age, because if your consciousness was not saying I am, we probably wouldn't make it this far, right? To be in such a contradiction. And that's really where we are in time. The reason why we can live so simultaneous hell and earth in the same afternoon is because your consciousness is always I am God, or I am source, or I am whatever you want to utilize as your command of infinite flow. Whatever that feels good to you is what the source of your I am is. And then your body, right, has been used and abused in this world. And so your body is literally 75 trillion cells saying, I am not. And so there's your contradiction. And that's all of our contradiction. Now, I will tell you that a really big breakup, a really big money issue, a really big disease can definitely feel like you are cramped your flow. Okay, so when your body gets so full of I am not, it creates a pretty big event for itself, like an accident, an illness, a dis-ease. And it is the way your body is saying, hey, look, I am believing I am not, because only a desire to flow can open up flow. That is the only thing that will ever get you back to source is desire. And this is why when you're too comfortable, or you're too codependent, or you're too addicted to something, then you're not hearing the desire coming from your source. You're not hearing your I am go, hey. So it waits for you to basically have the expression or feeling that you are completely cut off. And then you start desiring, like, hey, I need to open this flow. I need to get back to source energy. I need to start praying. I need to talk to God here. And that is the whole reason why your body can live in I am not, but it will seasonally, it will get so bloated and full of I am not that it will create some sort of 911 desire to get you back online. And that's all these things are in our lives. It's not like, oh my God, how could I have manifested this? If you looked at everything through the eyes of non-duality, which is this class, you would see that every negative is a shortcut. Every negative is a shortcut. And when we are living in the I am not, then what we are doing is we're living a life of I am trying. I am trying. I am healing. I am working. I am learning. I am studying. I am doing. And so you have to really get honest right now where your North Star or your GPS is motivating you each day. Is it motivating you to live as the I am not, which means you're trying, you're getting up every day and you're working really hard to be something. You're getting up every day to fix something. You're getting up every day to try to open up the flow. You're getting up every day to like speak your truth. Well, you are navigating from the I am not. Because if you are in the flow of I am, you would wake up and just experience your day as, right? Like, I am flow. Let's go test that out. I am abundance. Let's notice it. Let's play in it. Oh, you notice I am in lack? Great. I don't care for that. Let's change it. But if you're not noticing that your I am is I am starving, right? I am bleeding. I am drowning. I am suffering. If you're not noticing that that's the root command, then you're probably noticing the lack. You're noticing the leak. You're noticing the emptiness. You're noticing the starvation. You're noticing all the symptoms of your root I am. And I kind of went through this a little bit in Second Sunday, but for you guys, I have a lot of homework instead. Because again, enough theory, let's get into it. Okay, I've been running in an I am lack. I accept it. Great. Let's change it. Because again, if you are commander in chief of your reality, and all of you sit here and tell me, I don't create my reality, right? But at the same time, I don't feel like I'm creating that. I don't feel like I'm creating this lack. I don't feel like I'm creating this bully over here. I'm not creating this. Well, ultimately you are by giving it attention. You are ultimately recreating maybe an old pattern. Maybe this is a really old story. Maybe this is your first 7-year story. But because it keeps coming through the I am not, and you're looking at it and you're trying to put out a fire of it, instead of saying, you know what, let me go back to central command. So the name of this class today is called Source Coding. So whenever you are building anything from scratch, it first has to be obviously imagined. Okay. And then a blueprint is created, and the blueprint is going to be created out of anything that has a virtual experience. It's going to be created out of code. Okay. So you remember the movie, The Matrix, everything was in code. Well, the hologram of the Matrix is held together by source code. Your matrix, you have your own infinite matrix because you are your own universe. You have your own code. Okay. Now, if you are not commander in chief of 75 trillion cells, well, who is? Who is the commander in chief of this hologram? If you're trying, if you're like, this isn't working, you are not coding. You are under the command of another virtual reality. You have literally fallen under hypnosis, and you are under command of money. You are under command of illness. You are under the command of, I don't know, negativity, fill in the blank. You're under the command, which means the only way that you're going to fix any of this is inside of here. By taking back your commander position as your source code. Okay, so if you look at the definition of wealth, the root origin word of that word means wheel, right? It means wheel. And so it means it's constantly turning and it's constantly moving. Okay. And so we have so many negative programs in words. If I was going to say, okay, I want you to say, your homework today, Donna, is to say, I am wealth 850 times. Okay, like that's your homework. Well, what do you think about wealth? You know what I mean? Because it's like you have maybe a belief system about wealth. And so you may not want to be coding your source code here out of wealth, because you might have a negative belief system about an uncle who was wealthy, who was like in the Illuminati or something. And so that wouldn't be your word. Okay, maybe you don't truly understand what prosperity means. Maybe you don't really know what health means, because when you've lived in a body that is constantly being programmed, I am not, and you're getting lots of 5 sensory proof constantly. You can see it, you can hear it, you can feel it, you can, it's coming back in a feedback loop. It's real. I am not. So I refuse to believe that. So I'm going to get up and try. So the only way that you are running a try right now is if somehow you believe you are not. And so you're not going to be able to change this in this holographic space. You cannot be bigger than that program. There's no way, because it is an entire collective of I am not. And like I said, you walk into cigarette smoke, it's going to get on you. But inside of you, nothing can get in there. No one can hack your imagination. No one can hack your mood. Well, I mean, they can if you spend time out there, but you could alter your mood if you wanted to. You could create your own Eden if you wanted to. And maybe, again, being so much in the I am not, you've even forgotten how to do that. Or when you do that, it doesn't feel good because there's too much I am not in there and it robs your imagination. But ultimately, your work here is to recognize that the seeds of your heart can only grow in fertilizer. Okay, and we got plenty of that. But again, your fertilizer has to be used as your command, not of lack. Your command cannot be, I am lacking money, let's go work. It has to be fill in the blank. What word doesn't trigger you? That is another word of wealth. Because I bet you right now, if you have no money, money is a trigger word. Okay? If you have no health, health is a trigger word. And so if I said, Susan, say I am healthy 6,000 times today, and that was a trigger word, you wouldn't do it. So really what we're trying to do, though, is health and money and wealth. They're all symbols of source. Okay? It's all an infinite source. And so what happens is we either become a slave to the source or we become the source. There is no other way. You either become the source or you're a slave to whoever has the source. That is your only two choices. Slave of the source, hell. Okay? Commander-in-chief of the source, heaven. Just take a breath for a minute. Feel into that. It's like, who's paying your bills right now? Whose source are you flowing through? All right? Maybe you're like, I'm not paying the bills, I have no money. Well, your source is turned off. Okay? And if you're only getting it through someone else, guaranteed, you are resentment of that because you want that source. You don't want to ask for money. You want to be the source. So your own irritation is telling you that you are the source and you just need to go turn it on. Okay? You got a lot of weight around your body. You're starving for source. All right? You got too much illness. There's a blockage of source. No money coming in. Blocked source. So what happens is the I am not becomes the hologram that you live in. While your heart or the value that you do bring to this world remains in source. Because I know for a fact that I could be dead broke, okay? I could be on death's door and I could still show up and channel. How is that? How is it that I could literally have nothing and still give you everything that I've got, at least from my source? How is that? Well, because you are fractaled. You are in broken pieces, because where the blocks of source are where the pain is. Okay. So I never blocked my source of imagination as a kid. It was the one thing that the world could not take from me. And that's why I can channel when I'm dead broke. Okay. And that's why I know things, because imagination is where your intuition is. All your clairvoyance and clairaudio is in your imagination, by the way. So again, if your imagination is blocked, well, that is one thing that you're going to have to unblock if you're going to truly be able to create your own kingdom here, or your own reality, is to unblock where the source flows through, which is I am imagination, or I am magician. That's what imagination means. And so your source has to come through a valve, like a hose. And that hose is your imagination. So I can live such a dual experience here. I could be dead broke, okay? I could have kidney infection, which is a source flow. I could, be in some fight with someone out here, and I could still channel. How is it? Well, I know every single one of you have at least one valve open right now. I don't know where it is. I don't know what you're able to channel, that you can channel source through, but that's where we're going to start, because that is where the drip is happening. Okay. And so that is where your strongest point is. That is where your biggest faith in yourself is. That is where you feel confident about yourself. So we're going to start there, and we're going to use that because you do believe in that. You do feel that flow. Susan or Karen has never gone on a walk and not been able to get source energy, right? Like, it's never not shown up for you. And so we know that each one of you has a way, whether you sit with pen to paper or you go on a drive and listen to loud music, it's there. At least you feel the flow. And so wherever you do have that flow is where you believe I am. Now you're in a very, very, very scary hologram that teaches that the source comes from materials. Everything runs out in this hologram. Food runs out, money runs out, time runs out. And so that we have to go figure out who's going to put the more plenty out, and we have to become a slave to them. We have to do whatever they say we need to do, because, we need those grocery stores open because we don't know how to hunt tacos, right? We need those grocery stores. So there's a part of us that is enslaved to this system. Okay, we are enslaved to money because you can't go buy an airplane ticket with rocks yet, no matter how many rocks you've got. So again, there's certain belief systems out here that while you're building your new reality in your old reality, you're going to have to really be careful of how you're coding this place, because if you do not believe in it, you cannot use that to open source. This is why language is so is powerful, because your body knows certain Christed commands, even if you don't believe in him or it or that. Your body, which is in the image of the universe itself, God, has the essence of that Christed, that God spark, that universal energy that's blueprinted in. And so if you do find a way to describe source that your body can buy into, then that's what we're going to be working with our I ams in. Because your source code is going to be built out of I am that I am, which means the part of you that does know who you are needs to now reprogram the I am not in a hypnotic repetitive, compulsive, aggressive, non-distractive way, source code. And you will rebuild your human body out of your source. So you will become sovereign, which means that your abundance has nothing to do with the banks. Okay. Your prosperity has nothing to do with what economic structure is intact right now. Your wealth is your stream. So as long as you keep your stream open, all right, then civilizations can change and buildings can change, and your source knows that you are prosperous and it knows you're wealthy. So you will remain all of those things in the changing holographic space. Does this make sense? Are you guys following me? And so really what you can do is let yourself off the hook today. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just trying to be your God spark in someone else's hologram. And as long as you're in a hologram that is saying source comes from power or position or ownership, you will always be a slave. Always. Remember, your body is material. And so it's a container. So what you put in is what it thinks it is. It does not know whether it is a slave or a god. It is following orders. And if you are nowhere near the body commanding and chiefing this thing, well, it's under someone else's hypnosis. Now, you could be commander-in-chief of your channeling, of your body of work, of your motherhood, of your fitness routine, but someone else's commander-in-chief of money. And so what you have to do is you have to look at how money has hurt you. Because anywhere there is another master, you have been beaten into submission there. Beaten into submission to force you to believe that this is the master. That is the only reason why your unconscious mind is susceptible to slavery, is because you've been beaten into submission so many times that your body's like, uncle, okay, fine. And then the source within you doesn't know that you have relinquished that part of your control and doesn't know that you have two masters, and therefore you live a dualistic reality. Because if you have two masters, you're going to live two lives. You're going to be sitting in meditation going, I feel so wealthy. This is weird. I feel so abundant. I feel so knowledgeable. How come when I step foot out of my house, I feel broken alone? How come when I look in the mirror, I feel ugly? When I'm meditating, I feel infinite and young. You see? So as long as there's two masters, one will always neutralize the other. But because we are, the more scared and the more in lack we become, the more outward focused we become. This is a part of fear. So if I'm afraid, I'm going to be constantly studying my environment. If I'm afraid, because my nervous system is saying danger, danger, danger. So it is calling forth all of my presence to look outside. Okay. When you're meditating and you're internal and you're in your imagination, you'd have to be safe in order for that to work. Be still, right? And know that I am God. But if you have bills due, a body that's throbbing, people attacking you, judgment, you are literally going to be on guard of the next attack or the next bill, even if you feel like you're hiding. Because your projection of your I am is now, I am not, and I have to protect myself. And this is when that stream of even being able to channel gets thinner and thinner and thinner. The more outwardly focused you are, the thinner your stream inside of you becomes. And then you need more lifelines outside of you. You need more sources. You need support. You need better friends. You need an investor. You need, mom to tell you it's going to be okay. all of a sudden you need more outside help to remind you that you're okay. You become helpless. And it's like a double-edged sword, because it's all part of this hologram. They know that we can be very internally focused, right? And then at 7, because your brain hardens, so your brain becomes I am not, while you remain defiant in there, I am. So you live this dualistic life, and it's 10 steps forward and 10 steps back, and it's 10 steps forward and 10 steps back. And your body changes and your life changes, but it's literally, you don't grow at all. You don't get more affluent. You don't become more wealthy. You might have money, but I mean, imagine like the one thing that your stream has that never fails you. And one of the ways that I have like renamed wealth and prosperity, because that has been a trigger word for me, is love. Because I can be on death's door and love you. I literally could have nothing in my bank and still give love. That is one thing that I can channel no matter what. Even people who are hurting me, I can love them. Even people who have attacked me, I'm like, I still love you. I wish I didn't, you know? And it's infinite, and it's a flow, and it's always there. Well, what is love? Love is another word for God. And God is another word for source. But my body believes that about me. My body believes that we are loving. My body believes that it never runs out, that it's never enough. You know what I mean? Like it's always there, no matter what. Now, what happens though, is because this matrix is designed to cut your flow where you are abundant. So you will have to submit completely to the hologram and then become a food source of your source energy, because you never lose your source energy. You just feel like you are. All right. And this is why people are attracted to you, because while you're feeling like you've got no flow, you're still an abundant source. And this is why that they're like, I just feel so good around you. And I feel like I can tell you everything. And you're like, really? Because I'm bleeding and empty, yet you're still flowing. Because even though you feel like you are not source energy in that moment, you still have the stream. We all do. Until we finally say, fine, I won't use it. I will use the master. So we literally decide to stop using our own stream. Now, what would trigger us to stop using our own stream? Pain. Pain around love. You know, if the Matrix came right now and held guns to my kid's head, I'd be like, I love you guys. Bye. I'm giving up my stream. You know what I mean? Because that's how it works here in the hologram. Now, I probably wouldn't in this state. I'd be like calling your bluff. You know what I mean? Like, because this is all a hologram. But 6 months ago, I'd have been like, I love all of you, but see you later. And that's what this is what this matrix does. It holds a gun to the head of your love. And it says, are you going to submit? Oh, no? Okay, you keep showing up and you keep channeling. Well, we're going to take all your clients away. We're going to take all the money away. Because you have negative feelings about love, we can use that against you. Or about money, we can use that against you. Oh, money's hurt you before, we can use that against you. Right? So any way that this holographic experience can hold you hostage while siphoning your source is the option. It's hell. That's what it is. And so what you have to do is you have to go, I'm taking my body back, because that's the only thing that is held against you. As soon as you don't have a body anymore, you're like game over. As soon as you don't have nerve endings, as soon as you stop feeling in a human form, you would never submit to that. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. And this is why some of your ones that have crossed over are sticking around you right now, because they know you have the power to become the force or the Christed one in your lifetime. They know you can do this. And so they are literally living vicariously through you with their flow to help you increase your flow. So your grandfather and your father have never left. They're there and they're like, I couldn't do it, but you can. Because as soon as you're not embodied anymore, you don't have memories, so you remember everything. And that's really where we have to get to, is we have to become the omnipresence within ourselves. We have to take back our I am. Because the I am is actually mathematically encoded in your DNA. If you want to read how this works, it's Greg Braden, and I believe it's the God Code, right? And when they basically unfolded all the human DNA, it said, I am God. So why would you ever, ever bend a knee, right? Unless you have something to lose. The only way we stay in these toxic ass relationships and these horrible jobs, and we keep the money away and we keep the health away, is because we have said yes to some other master. And we have finally, even though we're still tantruming and we're still having mood swings around it, even though our source will never, ever bend a knee to the matrix, your body does. So your body becomes your enemy. And so not really to your source, but to your ability to create reality. And this is why the love and light people, right, that judge you harshly if you're not love and light, are the ones who are very far away from their bodies. And they are living only with the source that they can feel and want nothing to do with the body. But the way to build heaven on earth is in body. So you have to come back home, which we've been talking about for weeks, and you have to look at all of these different rooms that are saying, I am not. And then you have to figure out a way to recode through the source that you do have abundantly. You're going to use that source in every other area of your life through the command, I am. Okay? And so I've been doing a really interesting experiment. Now we know that the body is like a feral child. It's starving, it's full, it's bloated, it's sick, it's abundant, it's in lack, it's all over the place, because this hologram is about disorder and dysfunction and death. The entire hologram is made for you to see how everything dies. It needs you to see how everything dies, so you will be afraid of death. So you will be afraid of loss. So you will say, this is mine, okay? And the more that you become that version of yourself, the farther away you come from being commander-in-chief of your own ship here. Like, this is your ship, okay? Everything in the Bible, the Noah's Ark, the gender, all of it is about the human body being the way to create thy heaven. Everything inside of you. And this is why you might have to study your belief systems, because if you are really religiously indoctrinated, you're just going to have to use different words. And this is why the metaphysical community uses the word universe, because a lot of us have thousands of years of religious indoctrination. And when you hear the word God, your body's like, poo-poo, right? Or you hear the word love and you have 6 broken hearts stacked up, So you may have to find a word or a command that feels like flow to recode. Because ultimately, it doesn't really matter what your command is. What is important is the intention behind it. All right, the intention of the command. Now, your body is literally like an abused dog that you're rescuing and bringing it into a loving home. It does not trust you. It does not value you. You are not thy master. Please, can someone else give us money so we can pay these bills? Because this channeling stuff is not paying the bills, your body will say. Your kindness is not getting you out of trouble. Your kindness is being seen as weakness. So what happens is the more you become the I am not embodied, the more you begin to attack your own stream. Because you're like, this is the one place we haven't submitted yet. Have you ever sat there and felt like a fraud? Like, what am I doing? I can't make it. And yet I feel like I have all this knowledge and this love to share. And even your body is devaluing at this point because it's not getting you groceries. It's not paying your bills. It's not getting you a friend. It's not bringing forth your partner. It seems like it's actually just getting you in more trouble. That's what your body starts to think of it after a while. And I know because I've experienced this. I'm like, what the heck am I doing here? Who cares who's listening if I can't take care of myself, right? And then you get back into the flow and it feels really good to channel and you're like, oh, okay, I know who I am again. And then you walk outside and you're like, ugh! and the I am not slaps you in your face. And then you're like, you fight against it like a storm for a few days, and then you go whatever, and you surrender to it. And then you go into humility. Now, if you guys did I'm not even sure if it was the Master of Light or Master of Love workshop or the Alchemy workshop, I talked heavily about the difference between humility and nobility. Okay. Back in the day, the nobles, and you had to be born or married in to the noble, royal energy of whoever was commander in chief, was always taught to stay away from peasants. If you were a noble, you were taught to stay away from peasants because it might get on you. Literally, the mindset might get on you. So do not interact with a peasant. Okay. Now, right now, in your current circumstances, are you living as a royal being or are you living as a peasant? Well, what happened? You were born royal and the peasants got on you. That's what happened. Just like cigarette smoke. And you saw it and you witnessed it and you felt it and you interacted with it and you were spoon-fed it and you were taught it. And eventually it influenced you. Okay. And now you have to go into humility and become the disciple of your own I am. And you have to, because what we looked up the word humility, and it means below God. Now, it does not feel good to have to be forced into humility, especially for that matrix. It does not feel good to go take out another loan, which is humility. It does not feel good to go ask for help out there because that's humility. You're having to bend a knee to some God out there when you ask for help out there. And this is why asking for help does not indicate to your soul. It's why it goes against your, like, I don't want to ask for help. I just want to have this. Well, you are a noble who has amnesia. All the I am is royal, infinite intelligence, abundance, and freedom. That's all I am is. And look, your whole entire body was created out of the image of that which you chose. Your I am has been able to do some really great things until it got under the influence of I am not. Because you are a material body and you're residing in density to play out time and space, you can be influenced to give away your I am, or at least to feel that you don't have it at your command. You've also seen people who have it at command that seem like they're getting hurt and attacked. They do not fully have their I am. Because if you fully had your I am, no one would see you that was not in harmony or vibration unless it was in the vibration of your I am, which means that when you fully command your I am, you're going to go to a different parallel reality where all the people that you love are there, but they see you as the I am. And they are also living as their I am, because you build a world out of I am. That's all you're going to get there. So you don't have to worry, are my kids going? Am I going to be able to know people? Of course you are, because you're a creator. And you're just going to go create another dream for yourself where all the players are still heart-centered, but everybody is behaving as the I am. So anyone with body issues, anyone with money issues, anyone with time issues, anyone with relationship issues is playing I am not. That's it. Any questions on this? Because I want to get into the how. The how, you guys, I'm going to tell you right now, this is not easy. Because you have influences everywhere. And not only do you have complete influences outside of you, your body is under hypnosis to false God. Your body does not believe that you are God. Not yet. So not only do you have to cut the influence out there, you are going to have to reprogram through source code, I am fill in the blank. And now you can see why this method acting is coming. All of these classes that we have coming that are being taught by other teachers are super good, because you guys hearing me week after week after week. I mean, I've been basically saying the same stuff for 12 years. You know what I mean? And it's just like, after a while, it's like Charlie Brown's mom. Wah, wah, wah. So when you hear it from a different source, we're all saying the same thing. It's like, okay, so all I want to do now is start spending time helping you source code. You don't need to know any more spiritual bullshit here. You need to know how to get your I am in flow. That is it. You need to get your body under command of you. You need to be the captain of this ship, because you as this empathic, sensitive being will never survive very long out there. You won't. Your heart will keep you alive and it will keep the matrix fed, but you will never truly be able to bring real value out there. It'll all sit in your heart because it won't be received out there. There won't be clients who want to pay for you out there. There will be clients that want a pill, that want easy button, that want money. Now, if they think they can get money from your teachings, well, then they're going to sign up under you. But if you don't help them get money, they won't stick around. All right. So when you are in flow and source, what you're doing is you're going to attract people who are also in flow to collaborate. So it will not be working out there. It will be playing. So look at the people who have successfully done this. Okay, let's take examples of, like, this is not like this is not a unicorn. This is real. Any person that you study that is teaching New Age, I am, metaphysics, that has died, and you know their name, they reached this potential. They were I am. And now you're reading their books. So a legacy, okay, is what you will leave as an imprint. The Buddha, Jesus, right? All of these people reached the state of I am that I am. Right now, you are I am and I am not. And it's push, pull, push, pull. All you have to do is get the body to vibrate the I am. And if this does not become your life's work, I feel sorry for you. If this does not become the focal point of every single thing you do for the next forever, I feel bad for you, because I'm giving you this opportunity. And I'm going to bring as many teachers as I can to teach you different ways to get back to the I am. Because the only way that you're going to live a sovereign, free, abundant life that you know you are in your heart is to let go of the outside world. You have to let go of the outside world. And I recommend that you start today and you do 7 days of creation starting today. The number one step of creation is, and there was light. The definition of light is information. You are the light. You are the source. You have got to turn it all the way on. I know you've been hurt. I know you've been sabotaged. I know you've been taken from. I know you've been all of these things. And the only reason any of that was allowed in your consciousness is because you bent a knee. And you stay humble to it, because it's how you eat. It's how you live. So you have to fire up your imagination, and you have to get in your internal world, and you have to own in humility this mess. And you have to say, there has been a false God running the ship here, because health is all you are. Abundance is all you are. Flow is all that you are. You don't have this body anymore. You're back flowing. You're back abundant. You're back sovereign. You know everything in the universe. So where's the block, you guys? It's in the body. And it's not in the kidneys. It's not. That's where it's going to show up. But ultimately, a blocked flow means I am not. And your body is just going off the command. Your body is a faithful servant to whoever feeds it, just like a dog. So if your coaching is not feeding you, then you are not your own master. You could be coaching, but your husband is your master, or that last loan you got is your master. Your body cares more about pleasing them than you. So you have to get humble, but not to the matrix gods. You get humble to your I am, and you find where that source is still trickling. And then you become a disciple of that source. Because if I said, okay, like, what is your I am? Like, are you kindness? Are you love? Are you happy? Are you joyful? Like, what do you have infinitely that nobody can seem to take? Susan, what's yours? Like, what's your true I am?
Well, I would originally say I'm love, but I'll tell you, so many people say I'm kind, even though I don't always feel like that's who I am. But I'm telling you,
Kindness is
everywhere
a
I go,
personality
people
of
tell
love.
me I'm kind.
Right. And in
So-
order to be kind, you have to be loving. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, love, which is a flow, is used and abused out there. Okay? So the very thing that we are truly abundant in is the thing that gets hurt the most out there. Because that's death. This is life. This is infinite. So you become basically a whore of love out there, and you are used and abused, and you are rejected and abandoned for the very essence that you are an abundant of. But they keep you here. They reject and abandon you, but they want you because you're a source. They don't want you to know you are the source, because then you could go rogue and create a mutiny, which is what we're going to do starting today. This is where you say, thanks for nothing, Matrix. Thanks for 60 pounds and 40 grand of debt. You suck. I'm out, right? And now you're like, okay, I am that I am is my new body of work. Because you know, your true purpose is to actually manifest your heart's desires. That's your true purpose on earth. Is to, you're like, I can do it. Through the I am, I can manifest all of my heart's desires. How many have you been able to truly manifest that didn't get poo-pooed on or taken away or shamed or, you know, abandoned, or you had to abandon ship because you ran out of money? Think about the ones that were, think about what source is. It's the water that stays on infinitely. It does not turn off. And so when you're living in scarcity, you believe that it's going to get turned off somewhere. And so you either feast or famine things, which means you get money and you spend it real quick because you want to have one moment of joy. You have to look at I am, and then you have to look at where you are not. Scarcity, lack. I love how these old teachers are talking about lack as mental illness. It's so true. Because if all you are is abundance, then you have gotten mental illness from your abuse. And now you believe that you are lacking something. And because you believe you are lacking something, people around you are going to tell you you're lacking something. And then it fortifies the belief systems because of the law of the mirror. What you put out is what you get back. Even though you're going, see how worthy I am, see how good I am, you're not. Out there, you will only be a slave. And the more energy you can produce out there, the more enslaved you will be. It's like being really good at your job in corporate America. They figure out how to pay you less and you have to do more. So you're wanting to tone your reality down out there. Stop trying to prove yourself. Stop trying to work really hard. You didn't come here to work. You don't believe me? Go study Alan Watts for a few months. That dude knew how to play. I don't care if he ate mushrooms or what. He connected to the I am. Now I'm going to show you how to do it without getting high. Okay? You have to become the commander-in-chief of your I am, which means that you will become fully omnipresent and creator of your own kingdom, which means I say that I am, and everything has to bow to the God within you. You say it goes, it goes. It has to be I am that I am, which is I am, and the body is like, yep, we are. Because your body is the electromagnetic energy that creates manifestation through itself. Your body is the magnet. It is going to call forth the people, places, and things that are in alignment with whatever I am has the loudest vibration. Your source code channeling a couple times a week versus 75 trillion cells that are fat and bloated of the I am not, you don't have great odds. You're going to be constantly disappointed. Okay. That was my root wound when I found I am not. What does disappointed means? Pointed in the wrong freaking direction. Duh. That's all disappointed means, is that I put my faith on people instead of my source. I put my faith in a job instead of my source. I put my faith in money instead of my source, because money runs out. People run away. Things die. But my source, it remains. Okay. And I feel like I've probably been channeling my entire life. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's never going to run out. No matter, you could be on death's door. But the whole idea of the resurrection is that this I am not has to die. Now, it doesn't have to have like a death experience, but it has to be resurrected with the I am. It has to be. And it has to be at 0 point. You have to be 51% of I am that I am in order to start building a kingdom within, which means start just saying, I'd like 50 grand to show up today, and it happens. Okay, that's what I'm saying. As soon as your body becomes the I am of itself, this is when you are just playing, but yet it's creating abundance. That people don't have an ego around you, right? You can call the shots. You can live in that royal, decadence and not feel like shame and guilt about it. Like, you're here to actually demonstrate what flow and source looks like embodied. And this is why religion teaches you guys, like, oh, you shouldn't be showing off with money, because if you were not feeling guilt and shame about money, well, then you might be demonstrating source energy. So every single thing that has been guilted and shamed about you is probably your I am. What'd you get in trouble from as a kid? That's probably your I am. Your job is to find your truth that doesn't trigger you, that you don't have to go do a bunch of shadow work for. Because this is like, I'm telling you guys, this is the 5 and 6D way of claiming your kingdom without having to do another 20, 30 hours of trauma release. Is if you just find the right language. If you find language that doesn't trigger the body's belief systems, it will listen after repetitive hypnosis. Okay. So there's a couple of different ways that we're going to do this. Matter of fact, there's probably like 20 or 30 different ways that we're going to do this, and you're probably going to invent ways on your own. But your entire focus or reality should be based on your recoding right now. Depending on how scared you are in your life right now is how much you're going to put effort towards this. Okay. If you are in dire straits, this is going to become your world. Because if you're in dire straits, you're probably ready for that death experience. But if you are still like, I'm good. Okay. Well, then save this for later, because if you're not going to give this 100%, this is an all or nothing type of situation. I'm usually not a big advocate of that. But when it comes to there can only be one God and it has to be you, I'd say you either want to go all the way or just, wait until you are in dire straits. Because the one thing that I've noticed is the thing that it's going to take for you guys to really take back your I am is insatiable desire. The desire has to be bigger than your comfort level. Your desire has to be bigger than you being right about something out there, or the work you're doing out there. It has to be bigger than everything, because desire is the I of the am. And if your desire has been weakened because of the matrix and you don't even know what you want anymore, and you still are fighting against the matrix out there and you're still trying to prove yourself, I'd say wait. But if you are in a situation where it's like 911, or I am so sick of this, or I can no longer keep going like this, you just feel done, I'd say you make this your world. And you don't look back. And I'm going to tell you, this is going to probably be the hardest thing you've ever done. Because it has been the hardest thing that I had ever done. And I thought that I was pretty much the I am until I realized I was not. But I'm really glad that it happened because I didn't know. Until it got bad enough for me to feel like I was like being forced to bend a knee out there. I was like, what? Because I was calling my own shots for a really long time. But what I didn't realize is that I was still giving my source to the master instead of becoming the source. I was using my source to give to the master to get money. Okay? That's still bending a knee. But some of us work more in the, we're still slaves, but we might work in the castle, you see? And so we think we're good because we're eating and our bills are paid, or we live in a nice house. So we're like, oh, I am creating my own reality. I'm still bending a knee, which means that I could still be thrown out at any time, which means I'm still a peasant. And there's nothing wrong with peasants, but in the idea of you are light and therefore light is royal and light is information. Well, hello, your first day is about building your light stream, is about building your I am. And what I'm saying is let's take the path of least resistance and let's look at what you are already abundant in, what you are already extremely abundant in, and let's build outwardly. Because if you can convince your body that I am love, and love is the source of all abundance, then you could recode your whole body with I am love. Because love is one of those things that the Christed energy knows, that your cellular body is made out of. So even if you don't know if your body believes in it or not, it does. Your body knows what God is, your body knows what Christ is, your body knows what all the different deities' names are, because your body is made up of thousands of stardusts, particles. It knows way more than you know. But because you've practiced bending the knee to eat at the grocery store, well, it's now saying that this power is the master, and it is not going to go easy. Okay? And this is why sometimes when you guys go through healings, you get really sick, because ultimately you can't change an I am under a healing session. You can open up the flow and feel great for 3 days until you practice I am not. You can go through a whole biohacking session, and we can work all like half of that I am not out of there. And then the second you see something outside of you, I am not again, and you fill it back up. And this is why the only way that you're going to truly do this is with repetitive, consistent, 24 hours a day if possible, recoding. Okay? Which means the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to cut your distractions. That is the first thing, because you have no idea that hours of social media is actually recoding I am not. You might not feel like that when you look at it. Maybe you don't see anything negative, but you might see a lot of stuff you don't have that you want, because it's highlight reels. It's pain, suffering, and highlight reels. That's what social media is. It's all designed to get you to a knee. Because if you give up 4 hours watching that, you could have been 4 hours of IMing. Could have. You do have free will still. But because they make it so intoxicating, where they're like literally, they pull your energy over. They get your body so tired at the end of the day that you have no energy for yourself. So you just surrender to the matrix, and you watch TV and you watch social media and you eat a bunch of food. And that's your reward for giving away your energy throughout the day. So there's a couple of different ways that I'm going to show you guys how to do this that's going to help you biohack it. Number one, the way that you can start creating your I am, but first you have to do it. First day is light. What is the I am? Does anyone need help finding their I am that they do believe in before we get out of class? Because I will help you find it. You have to believe in it within your body right now. It has to be something your body buys into. Otherwise, you're going to have to do some pre-gaming here, which is fine. Does anybody not know what they are abundant in? Michelle, unmute yourself.
No, I was sitting here thinking about everything, and I'm still jumping back into the I am not.
That's
Even
okay.
though I used to think I believed that I was everything, and now I'm feeling I am not.
Well, of course,
So what
your
am I-
body, here's the thing. Don't claim that. Don't claim that. Your body is feeling the I am not. Let's all stop claiming it. How about that? That's the number one thing. This is a body thing. This is not you. You're the one who is here listening to this class. Your body might be having an I am not situation, but it really has nothing to do with you. So when you get really still and quiet and you take all your circumstances away, Michelle, and you stop at looking at your life and your simulation here, and you get in here to yourself, what have you always been abundant in?
Imagination.
Good. That's all you need, girlfriend, because imagination is God. That's what imagination is. Imagination got you into this mess, and it's going to get you out.
Okay.
So you can say, I am imagination, and your body will code that into source. Okay?
All right.
That's what I mean about this, you guys. It doesn't have to be love or kindness or prosperity or wealth. It doesn't have to be any of those things. You just have to find a one way that has gotten you into your metaphysical journey, because it's probably related to that. It could be curiosity. Curiosity, you're always curious. Great. Anything that you always remained could be your source. Okay. Curiosity means that you've got questions, right? And only light is information. Information is questions answered. So we want to take wherever you are abundant in. It could be strength. It could be that you just don't give up. It could just be like drive. That is fine too, because your ability to drive yourself has to be coming from an infinite source. Okay. So then you think about what this I am truly is. This is where now you have to go back into your heart. Like, we're going to use one I am to start, and it doesn't matter. It could be chipped away and very small, but it's consistent and it's always been there with you. That's your one flow that they haven't taken. Okay. Both knees haven't bent. Only one knee's bent. You haven't bent both knees. You haven't become knighted out there. You still have an opportunity to stand up. So imagination, kindness, love, strength, drive, intelligence. It could be kind. It could be nurturing. I've just been nurturing my whole life. That's another definition of love. Right? Okay. Like survivor. I survived. Great. That's an infinite source. This world hasn't killed you yet. That had to come from your source. This world is designed to siphon your energy until you are no longer useful. And then you are drugged or put in front of a TV until you live out your days.
Okay. Broken down like that, it makes more sense. Thanks.
You guys just have to pull away from your current circumstances, because looking at yourself through your current circumstances, you're not going to feel very I-aming. Okay. Maybe at certain times of your day you do, but maybe for the whole, you're like, what the hell am I doing? All right. So it's the I presence that is the infinite stream that we're going to start with. Now we're going to drop into the heart and look at the seeds in there and be like, okay, what are the desires of my heart? Because the thing is that's where the child sits, and the child needs to have a desire bigger than paying bills. It has to have a desire bigger than, looking good in front of strangers. It has to have the desire that it can hold on to during this reprogramming. So it's like the carrot or the dog treat. I'm literally training my 2 dogs right now, and I'm using dog treats. So you are going to have to use one of your heart's desire as your dog treat for this thing. Whatever that is. I don't care if it's new carpet for your steps. It could be a new car, right? It's just something that has to make you feel really happy. Okay. Maybe having all your bills paid would make you feel really happy. That's fine. but it has to bring you into joy when you think about it manifested. Not far away, but like if I gave this to you today, what would you feel? Okay. If you had this already, what would you feel? That's the feeling connected to the stream that we're going to use to block the other hypnosis. Because you are addicted, you are hypnotized, you are under command. Even if you say you're not, you are. We all are. So you're going to need a heart's desire and a feeling of it already being done. All right. And you're going to need some form of stream. And then the two of them we're going to put together and we're going to create your command sequence out of this. Okay. So let's say you really want to buy a house. So it would be, I am a homeowner. I am a homeowner. Because in your mind, owning a home means that you're abundant. It means that you're wealthy. You see how we're tricking the body here using the inner child. You don't have to go, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy. Your body's like, no, you're not. You don't even know how to make money. So don't go there. You have to go with the desire manifested, the feeling, and then you turn the feeling into an I am. And the thing is once the vibration of your I ams start becoming above boredom into joy and excitement and peace, well, that's when source energy starts to get bigger. When you go, I'm in debt and I feel guilty and I feel resentment, well, your stream's getting smaller. Okay. So we've got to start commander in chief. You know, there's going to be times where you're going to have to tell your body, be still, stop. Don't use the word no. The word no is a hypnotic sequence that will take you into tantrum. But using the word stop on yourself is a pause. It's not bad or good. A stop sign isn't a smack in the face. It isn't telling you that you're not God. It's just stop. And this is one thing we used in conscious parenting with kids, so we didn't program no into them. We said, stop. And then you get down to their level. And you've heard, be still and know that I am God. You've heard this phrase. Well, now you know where this came from. Because you've been under hypnosis for as many years as you are old, and you're going to have to stop yourself. You're going to have to stop the streams of lower vibration. You're going to have to stop the resentment thoughts. You're going to have to stop anything that does not vibrate above boredom. And you're going to have to do this 51% of your day if you want any changes to occur. Because right now, 51% of your world is coming from outside influence, and therefore your stream is usually just being used somewhere for someone else's good. It's not really even benefiting you, your own stream. You're a slave to giving your stream away, but it's not really going anywhere. It's not giving you anything in return. So you can see why this is like serious business here. And because of how many influences are around you, this is why you want to treat your body like a dog that has been abused and now it's in a loving home, but it's trying to attack you because it doesn't know if you're going to be consistent with it. It doesn't know if it can believe anything you've said. It heard all of these things before. It's taken these classes before. You never finished. You started it, and as soon as you got distracted by something, you put all of this work down. You've probably done this work before, and it lasted only until the outside triggered you. Well, I'm going to tell you that when you start taking back your command of I am, the triggers are going to come, and they are scary. And the reason why is because the holographic experience can feel you moving away. And the analogy I can give you is if you've ever stopped focusing on a guy and all of a sudden he calls you, right? Or you stop giving something your attention and it shows up because it can feel the disconnect from you. It's almost like the 911 goes off and they've lost one of their slaves. And your hologram saying, I am not safe if I don't bend a knee, starts to feel like you're betraying a master, and your body tries to turn on you and go back. I recommend you guys all watch Shawshank. It's a terrible movie, but it's great because there's this scene where he figures out a way where he's like, I'm getting out. right? And if you watch the last few scenes of Shawshank, he gets really quiet. He does all the work internal. He goes through the motions in the Matrix prison, and then he escapes with lots of money. You got to get out of Shawshank, and I am not kidding. And in the movie, it's interesting because one of his friends finally gets up for parole, and he's so old he doesn't know how to be on the outside, and so he commits a crime to go back in. You will try to do this. I am telling you right now, you will try to do this. You will try to do something wrong to get back in there because your body feels safer in comfortable hell than it feels in an unknown heaven. Is this resonating? Okay, so I have been using all forms of hypnosis against hypnosis. So what I will do at least 3 times a day, and if you guys are working a full-time job, I recommend that you take 10 minutes breaks. Smokers get to do it, right? And you go outside and you sit in your car and you put your headphones on and you're going to use Theta to reprogram. Theta binaural beats, like nails on a chalkboard. Don't get a lot of bells and whistles in there. Don't do the healing sounds, just straight Theta. You need to turn your brain manually to receiver, okay? Receiver, because you're always on the defense out in the world, which is beta. Your nervous system is wired for attack. And if you start saying, I am a homeowner, your body's gonna be like, get out of town, you're an idiot. And it's gonna start itching, you're gonna start nose running, and the phone's gonna start ringing, and all these distractions are gonna start happening because the prison bell is ringing. So you gotta hypnotize your brain into Theta, get yourself in Theta, and then start, I am a homeowner. Now, really, if you wanna take it to the next level, if you guys work from home like I do, some days, is I'll go lay flat. When I first started doing this, it was really interesting. I'll go lay flat, and I have, at this point, a list of I ams that I believe in, okay? Because you'll notice that the bigger your stream gets, the more stuff you start to believe, okay? Because your body starts to be like, okay, well, what else are we? Okay, tell me what else I am. And it starts to kind of like want to believe you. So like the dog that's been attacked starts to want to kind of sleep by your lap a little bit. So your I ams will grow here. But if they're just 2 I ams, if they're just what, even if you just say I am, did you know if you just say I am, I am, I am, I am, that's the command of the Christed kingdom. I am that I am, right? If you guys like, if you're like, I got nothing, start with I am. And that's all you need. Your ego could be thinking about all the things you're not, but if you say it with intention, you don't have to say it out loud, but you can. You're just, I am, I am, I am. Now, turn on the Theta and start the I am, and you're going to repeat it until the 10 minutes is done, which means you do not break your I aming. You do not let Theta run and go have other thoughts. No. You stay in repetitive, I am. And doing this will keep your mind away from thinking about anything else. It might be hard in the beginning. Get right back. I am. And you're just thinking it over and over again. You guys are this is going to become a lullaby, trust me. You're gonna be walking around places doing this in your head, and it's going to keep you out of the hypnosis. It's literally like, it feels like liquid honey into my body now when I'm doing it. But you have to stay repetitive. The Theta will keep your brain in receiver. It'll get your nervous system relaxed. You don't have to do crazy breathing here, because what I actually want you to do is get really still, like really still. So if you need to do a minute or 2 of relaxation first, if you're really rigid, if you're really hurting, you might have to like breathe and get your body centered and ground first. And then, get Theta going. You start your I aming, 10 minutes, no less, 10 minutes. And then notice. If you guys can do this lying down, you will notice some crazy shiz. You will notice where in your body you don't believe this. Your foot will start hurting. And what you do is you focus all of your attention to the foot, and you say, I am, until it lets go. This may take you 30 minutes. Do not let that foot win. You stay on that pain or that contraction. You stay on it. I had one in my kidney the other day. Woo! It felt like it literally felt like a Charlie horse in my kidney. What is kidneys? Fear. And I was just like, and so every once in a while, what I would do is I would stretch it out, and then I would go right back to the I aming. Stretch it out, and then right back to the I aming. Starts to cramp, stretch it out. But you want to focus all your I aming to that pain, because this is where the fear is located. This is where the blocks are located. This could be your money block. Okay, this could be your information block, your solution block. It could be literally in your ankle. I've had this crazy pain in my left knee since I started this. And so for 2 days now, I have been I aming my knee, and then it would come back. And what I realized is that's the knee that I have bent. I've bent the knee, my feminine knee, to this world. And so when I'm saying I am, my knee is like wanting to bend down and go toward the other master, which I thought was a really interesting metaphor, because I've never had knee problems in my life, ever, never. Because all of a sudden, it's like, oh no, you bent the knee. And so this is where your humility is you are becoming humble to the I am. You are sitting in the stillness, receiving the new command. If you can do this 3 times a day, and then all the other day, if you do not make this a living meditation, which means if you do not bring this into your laundry, if you do not bring this out into your life, this won't work. 3 times a day, and then going back out into the circus and not having any control over yourself, your animal is just you're gonna forget to do this. You're gonna be like, shoot, I forgot my I aming today. It'll just be, it won't be important to you. So if I am just at the sink, I am noticing where I am abundant. I am noticing where I am free. I am noticing what else I would like to be outside my patio. I am only growing things. I am not going into fear about what's dying. I'm only allowing growth and upgrades. Growth and upgrades. And if I can't get creative in that moment, I'm thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That should be your only repetitive command for the next 7 days, is either thank you for what you already have and what's coming, or I am. Stay out of as many social situations as you possibly can, because if you could do this for 7 days, there's a reason why it's 7 days of creation. You will create new neural pathways. Okay, like when you fold a piece of paper and then you open it up, it has a natural bend. You have to create a new natural bend. You have to create a new automatic. Okay, if you do not give yourself at least 7 days of this, well, you've had how many years out here? There's a bend. There's a bend in your paper out here, and it wants to go that way. So it's going to win. But if you can stay repetitive for 7 days, and I would even go as far as canceling things. I would even be as far as like, you know what? I just don't want to be at this barbecue right now until I've got this I am under control. All right. Like I would completely absorb myself in that. Now, once you start to feel, and it will take about 3 days, once you start to feel like when you say I am, that there's almost like a truth, your body's like, well, yeah, I'm starting to believe this. I'm starting to buy into this. Well, then, and you're gonna have to wait for this. And it might be next week when we go into question and answers about this, because you'll have a week, is to do 10 minutes of gamma, which is I am. And here, all you're doing is saying thank you for 10 minutes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because thank you means it's already received. That's it. 10 minutes of gamma, binary frequencies. I'll put in the cue which ones I'm using. They're real basic. But you'll start to feel your body vibrating. In theta, it's almost like you're listening. And in gamma, I know. Okay. And I have not watched any TV really, except like one show that's really high vibe with my daughter that is almost like our abundance part of the evening. Okay. Where we have dinner together and all these things, our little ritual. But that's it. If I'm not in a session talking to one of you, this is what I'm doing. Because I want out quick. I mean, I'm Shawshanking this thing like tomorrow. Okay, like I don't want to do another year of this. I've got a birthday coming in May. I don't need it bittersweet. Okay, like I'm in it to win it. And I will tell you that like now it's just such an automatic. I don't have to use the theta beats anymore. The theta beats is to sit you down and hold you still. Because you are naturally, when you are under command of the I am not, you are in constant beta. And beta is a brain wave that's wired for defense. A brain that is wired defense is going to attract things to defend itself from. I am that I am, remember? And if you are not, well, your life is going to keep proving it to you. Okay? Do not get sucked into anyone else's I am here. Leave everyone else's I am alone. Stop living vicariously. Stop trying to heal people. Stop trying to counsel people. If you get triggered out there, that's your own work. And it's probably going up against I am not that's triggering you. Okay, like it's proving again that you're not as spiritual as you thought you were. You're not as abundant as you thought you were. You were not as healed as you thought you were. That's what's going to trigger you. And so all you do is realize that it's just a commander position. It's like you're going to just get the new master and the body's not going to like it. And then eventually it's going to start feeling so different in your body. The thoughts you think will be different. The sensations you feel will be different. How you see your world is going to be different because the I am presence sees everyone as I am. But it's also going to rebuild your field. So your I am is going to rebuild your field. Your brain is not going to be in constant defense. And so you're really not going to attract a lot of things that go against the I am. So if this is as worth it to you as it is me, then this is your day. You're about to take your independence back. And like I said, this is not going to be easy, but we're going to be offering the method acting classes. You're going to be basing your method acting classes out of your I am. So if you go, well, I'm a homeowner, well, then you're going to become a homeowner and you're going to live as that version of yourself every day and not look at anything with your five senses that tells you otherwise. So this is also going to turn on your intuition because you're only allowed to use your third eye here. You can only use your third eye when working in the I am, because if you look out there, you're not. You don't own the home yet. You don't have the money yet. So you have to leave the five senses out of it. Do not take your truth from the five senses. Take your truth from how your body is going to start feeling first. It's going to be like a relief. Like, oh, I can sleep again. I can eat again. Okay. Also, you can stay in theta. You can wear the theta. Do this at night. Do this first thing before you get out of bed. And then practice your I amming, like being like at the sink and doing dishes, and notice flowers growing in your front yard that are not there. Notice the trees blossoming. Grow everything, because this is what the I am does. It grows and expands everything to the point of gluttony. Like there's enough fruit that falls on the ground to feed the whole world. Earth is abundant. So instead of saying, oh, my grass is dead out there and the dog keeps peeing, notice that it's growing. Notice that your neighbor's got a beautiful new roof that you hate looking at their old one. Notice what it is that you would prefer to see in the corner of your room that's cluttered. But don't do anything. Just start living in your third eye world all day. Okay, your husband's talking, wah, wah, wah. Tune him out. Your subconscious knows when to go, wow, that's exciting. You could be somewhere else. I recommend it highly, because the reason why we got so submissive is because we gave way too much attention to what is. And if I believe in what is, how can I create magic? It is. Right now, my grass needs to be cut. But you know what I prefer to see is that my guys came already and cut my grass. The neighbor's guys just cut their grass, but I'm seeing my grass cut because that is what I am prefers. Beauty, elegance. You are beauty because I am is nature. Remember what Sen means? Separated in nature. Your nature is abundance. So the way that you get rid of all sin is start to notice your nature and act out your nature. And if all you have is kindness, practice it. Practice being kind everywhere. If all you are is love, drive down the street and give it away in bountifuls. You're going to notice how abundant you are in these things. And it's also going to give you activities of the I am to do so that it takes your focus off of what is. All right. And this is what you practice in between your moments of stopping the matrix and recoding. And this is what you're going to do very safely. You're not going to go tell anybody, I am. They'll be like, no, you're not. Don't do it. This has to be extremely internal journey here. It has to be me, myself, and I. And when your body finally gets so used to this I am, it will become it. So the further away you are from your I am, the longer it will take you. So I can't say this is going to be 2 days or 3 days or 7 days or 2 months or 2 years. I will say the level of consistency that you offer yourself, the ritualism that you gift yourself, the intention of your I am, getting rid of outside influences is going to speed up your timeline. Okay. And then as you start to, your body starts to believe in this, what you will do is you'll add new I ams in. I am abundant. That feels really good. It does feel like that's true now. Wow. I really do understand wealth. It just means wheel and my wheels are turning. I'm starting to crave different things because again, the reason why we have weight on our bodies, illness, and lack of funds is because we have cut our source off. The reason we're overweight is because we're starving for source. The reason we have no money is because we're starving for source. So if you start doing all this, you see how this is going to be a win-win. You're not going to be as hungry. Okay. You're not going to be going towards your addiction. This is going to be your new addiction. And I hope it does, because this one is actually going to bring you to the kingdom, which is inside of you. And it's going to basically change the player. Remember, your state of being creates your reality. And right now, your state of being is I am not and I am. And so when it becomes I am that I am, well, your state of being will produce the biggest harvest you've ever seen, because every single thing that's been in your heart is waiting in fourth dimension. Fourth dimension is escrow. So it's all sitting there. Every time you've asked, it's been given, but you cannot receive if you're playing I am not. So all the things you've asked for that you've never gotten are literally waiting for you to become the you that you want to become. And you cannot do this with a pill and another class. You are going to have to do this 24 hours a day, if you can, and say, I'm worth this. I deserve this. What do you have to lose? Say you gave this a month. Say you did this for 30 days. You have nothing to lose at this point except the matrix. Because like I said, wealth is wealth. If the economy changes, you stay wealthy. If your I am is wealthy. Okay. But if you're a slave, you're probably freaking out right now. Like, what do I do? So you've got to break out of jail, but you've got to do it internally. You cannot force claw, yell at people. That's what makes everything bigger. If you've ever tried to stand up for yourself with a real toxic person, they're always better at it than you are. They always have better comebacks and they're always scarier, and you usually end up submitting. So I would say stop standing up to the bullies and realize that your I am not created them. And I literally had to block someone last week because I'm like, you're interrupting my I am. But I know that's a mosquito at my leg trying to get me so that I'm not focused on my I am, because it's proving that I'm not. There's going to be someone who's going to try to prove that you're not, or something that's going to try to prove that you're not to get you sucked back in. And so you're just going to have to be bigger. You're going to have to be stronger. and more dedicated to this. And if you fall down and you notice 10 minutes, you start thinking, stop and get right back on. Don't be like the day's ruined, like eating a donut. We start tomorrow. Start right now. Because all there is now. And you could be this close. You could be this close, because you know what? Usually it's darkest before the dawn. So if you're really in an extreme dire situation, you're probably way closer than you think you are. And really, you got nothing to lose. Like I said, if you're super comfortable right now, you might be like, okay, I'm going to cliff note this for later. And then something's going to wake you in the middle of the night and you're going to be like, because again, I think that when you really start taking back your I ams is when there's nothing left for you here. You know, it's like, it's almost like this world is not feeding you the way it was, the way it, you know, you don't have motivation for it. You don't have the tolerance for it. You don't, you know, you're not getting wrapped up in the drama like you used to. Like it's not feeding you at all. And so you feel scared that you don't want to participate, but you still have to eat. So again, I guess it's just going to depend on a personal preference here, but I am definitely at that point where it's like, I've been teaching for way too long with one knee bent and I'm done. And I don't like, literally, I'm like at this point where I don't care if it kills me because I can't die. You know what I mean? Like I'm all the way. And what I have just felt over the last 2 days is my body's finally really starting to receive this. And things are starting to change. I got some really good emails this morning of gratitude from people, where last week it was like, everything was wrong last week because I was like not breaking character. So remember, morning, noon, and night, 10 minutes. As soon as you start to feel like a shift, okay, we'll now include a gamma and start, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Other ways that you are really programmable: in the shower, driving. So when you are doing something physically, your mind is open. This is a great time to program. Spend your whole shower in I am. Drive, I am. And go and start going into all the things. You don't have the repetitive, like, you know, I am kind, I am loving, I am helpful. Like, go into your truths. You don't have to, you don't have, if you say a lie, your body will be like, you know, and again, none of it's a lie. It's just programmed to make you feel guilt and shame about yourself. So you might hit those. We'll go back to the ones that feel good. And then eventually it'll start opening up, opening up, opening up. And so use all of those open opportunities where your brain is literally receiving. So shower, washing the laundry, sweeping the floor, things that are just repetitive that you can do automatically is when your brain is the most receptive. After a big meal, okay, your brain is like open to receive. Okay, right before bed, right when you wake up, you can get your brain into theta in the car, like on a lunch break. Use this opportunity to basically become the commander in chief of this. And I'm saying if things start to go wrong, it means it's going right. That's one thing that I can tell you is when it starts to look worse out there, it's because it's getting better in here. So you're going to have some courage. And I would recommend telling no one of this that is around you, because all of the actors in your movie right now are seeing you through the eyes of I am not. Now, they might be loving you and embracing you, but they might feel a little sorry for you. So don't start your I aming out there. Okay. You're not ever going to say the words I am out loud. You will start to embody it. Your body will move differently. You will attract different things. You will know different things. You will see different things and you will have different things. And that's when you start to embody all this work you've learned. Until then, you got a head full of knowledge and a body with a bent knee. So you might as well start now and really give yourself the attention that you want from everyone else. You're going to give to yourself. So you're going to feel really seen and heard because you're going to be constantly talking to yourself. And repetitive statements, after a while, you don't have to think about it. Like I'll just be walking around and my head is like, this is awesome. I didn't even have to turn it on. It's there. And again, it's going to take some time and it's going to take a lot of willpower and commanded focus and the carrot. Remember, what am I doing this for? You have to have a reason that you're doing this for. You have to have a bigger desire than your fear. What that is, you're going to have to sit with. What is your desire? What is the purpose of you changing your story here? Okay. It doesn't matter what it is as long as the body wants it. As long as the body wants it more than comfort, it will follow the carrot. Just like my dogs follow, they have to go into their kennel at night, and they know it's going to suck, but they want that treat. And they're like, I go to your bed. They're in their bed. They don't want to be in there, but they want that treat. Your body doesn't want to follow this, but it wants the treat. So what are you going to treat yourself? Remember, I am a homeowner. I'm driving a new car. It doesn't matter as long as it's I am related and it's something that's growing and getting you feeling happier. It could be I am happy, you guys. It could be I'm joyful. I'm peace. I'm at peace. Like anything that you truly want to experience that is your carrot, don't define it by anyone else. Only you know what you're really doing all this work for. What have you been doing all this work for? That's what your carrot is. Okay. I want to feel safe. Great. Okay. This is going to help you feel safe because you are no longer in a jail cell where you have to do horrible things to survive. You have to give away your integrity and your morals out there, even if you try not to. It's part of the rules. And then after a while, you will become like that. Even if you don't think you are, you will be the toxic one. Even if you think you are precious, you will be cynical. You will be jealous. You will be envious. You will be gossipy. And you'll be like, that's not me. But you will become the influence of your environment. Because if you understand epigenetics, environment is what triggers your DNA, you guys. So you have to create your own environment here. Like I said, if you were in jail right now with a life sentence and you did this, they would parole you. So if it feels like you're in a jail cell right now, challenge accepted. The way out is the way within. The kingdom is within you. Be still. So treat your body like a crazy dog. Don't take it personally, your own bad behavior. Okay, don't get upset when your mind starts going into a dark path. That's just the wild animal inside of you. That's the starving animal. So be still. Train. It took me 2 weeks to train the treats to bed. Right? At first, they were just jumping all over me trying to get these treats until they realized that they were rewarded by listening. So I'm kind of using the puppies as a metaphor for my own body, even though I think that I'm listening and that I'm intelligent. I'm really not, because I'm so programmed to this other master. I almost feel like there's betrayal there. So you're going to maybe have all these feelings come up, and it's okay. So does anybody have any last questions before we start our adventure? So this is your vision quest. Your vision quest to your kingdom is within. And it's only the GPS of I am. That's all you need. That's all you need. But every wheel spinning has to be I am. Any questions? Donna?
So as you were talking, I realized I had a lot of I ams that I would like to reprogram to. When I'm doing this process, do I just pick one and go during that 10-minute or whatever?
What do you mean? Like, what do you mean your I ams that you want to reprocess?
I have the things that you said: intelligence, nurturing, I am.
Oh, good. Yeah, you can say them all. You can say them all, but you just want them at the forefront of your mind so that you're easily accessing them to repeat them mentally. So if it's more of like one that's lower on your list, you might not get it. So, but yeah, I mean, while you're sitting there, you can read your list over and over again out loud, and your body hearing your own voice and actually saying this into the mirror is another biohack. Looking at your own eyes and saying, I am, you'll feel sensations in your body. And I want you to pay attention to your body sensations, because first of all, who's feeling the body sensations? You, the I am. And you will actually feel in your body where you receive it and where you reject it. Like my thymus has been jumping when I say I am God. Okay, but if I say like I am abundant, my kidneys are like, meh, you know, and so I'm noticing the difference where it's like, I believe I'm God, but so again, you can see the convoluted patterns here. And so what I'll do is once I start to feel a contraction somewhere, I will direct all my I am focus to that area and I am it until it lightens up. I will not stop until it shifts the energy. So it's almost like it's going to submit to me. I'm not going to let it win. Not like, okay, I'll come back to that one later, because it's like, haha, we won. And it showed itself to you. So all you have to do is your I am energy focused towards that point of your body until it shifts. It may feel worse later, but all you're looking for is a shift. Quantum healing is not about better or good. It's just about a shift, like an opening or a little bit of a flow. And so you're just going to recognize the flow. And I've been feeling it go all over. So I'm like, interesting where all the little blocks are. And then when you do the gamma, you'll also feel different sensations too, like things opening up. And so this is how you're going to like actually have your ego see and experience this I am journey with you, because it's a lot of it's imagination. It's 90% imagination, but there is a lot of sensations that that are happening that you might not be paying attention to unless you're still. In the stillness, you'll feel everything. So get still at least 3 times a day. Okay. All right. So yeah, Donna, you can read all of them. If you have intelligence and kindness and loving, yes, you're going to be like, what the hell have I been bending this knee for? But again, now your body just needs to become it. So I am is how we turn the body into the servant of the I am, and it will mirror back directly. And then the 75 trillion cells will then magnetize outwardly and bring back the image of I am. So this is how you change everything. Okay. We've heard for years and years and years, oh, it's all within. How? Okay, this is the how. And as we do method acting and other things, we're just going to be finding new ways of reinforcing it, because I think a lot of people reach the level where they build the kingdom, but then if they get sucked into money or get sucked into power, they can lose their I am. Look at what happened with Wayne Dyer, right? You get to the I am point, doesn't mean you're good forever. When you get into a new level, there's a new game, you're going to have to still be commander in chief there. So you really want to stay in your I am, and then you are literally immortal and timeless, as long as you say you are. So stay with that. Because again, money and power can create all kinds of weird things that can happen. I know, because like I went from nothing and then I got money, and that's what sucked me in. And that's probably why I've been pushing money away this last year, is because I want to return to my source for my abundance. Until I get the source of the abundance, this is just a false god. So I know that is the journey I'm on right now. And it's feeling so much more abundant when I am present to it. Like I said, you have to give up your 5 senses for the next 7 days and stop paying attention to. If you cannot look at your emails right now, and not look at your bills if you can, I would highly recommend not looking at anything that teaches you that you are not. If you can. If you have to, you have to. But as soon as I blocked somebody, I'm like, I'm going to block this person for 7 days. What do I have to lose? And everything started going faster, because it's like, you're trying to heal, and then all of a sudden, there's alarm sounds. And so you're getting sucked back into it. And your body is always going to go towards the drama. So, because that's what it's used to, because it's law of resistance. Okay. So does that help, Donna? Okay. Anybody else? All good? Okay. Godspeed. You guys got this. You're about to start your vision quest of your I am. Okay. It can be whatever you believe it is, because it's probably related to abundance and freedom. And then as you start to take over, just let it expand all the things that you are. You are so much more than you have believed you are. And it's time for you to basically take the ownership of that and recode your body as it. Okay? All right, guys, I'll see you soon. Love you. Bye.